Hi, this is Dr. Linda Mintle. Hey, thanks for listening to the podcast of the Dr. Linda Mintle Show. Our website is filled with more encouraging interviews, all accessible at myfaithradio.com.
Doing life together, reaching out with hope, encouraging one another, each step along the road. You and I can make everything a little better, doing life together.
Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Linda Mintle Show. I'm your host, Dr. Linda Mintle, the relationship doctor, and I'm here along with my co-host, the other Dr. Mintle, my husband, Norm. And every weekend, we're here, we're doing life together, and as always, we're so glad that you've joined us.
Do you know this? Do you know, I just want to say it, just in case you're unaware. Happy Valentine's pre-weekend.
That's right. Love is in the air, Norm.
That's right.
It's coming up. And hey, our technical producer, Katie Sims,
It's in the air for her, huh?
she's engaged.
Yeah.
Put a picture on Instagram. Take a look, but congratulations to her.
We told her it was okay with us so long as she didn't leave us.
That's right. She plans on staying for a while, so we're good.
If
we're
she's
good.
going to marry and go off to Hawaii or something, forget about it.
That's right.
Let that happen. So, ladies and gentlemen in our audience, what are your plans for the weekend? Are you thinking ahead? I hope you've made your reservations because it's the hardest restaurant seat to find of the year, except perhaps Mother's Day.
And even when it's midweek.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what day of the week it falls on. It's just hard to get in if you haven't thought like 6 weeks in advance.
You really have
So
to
if
be
you
ahead
listen
of
to
it.
this, you're too late.
Yep. Hey, there's always McDonald's.
Yeah.
Okay, but hopefully the show will remind all of us how to show love to important people in our life, not just our Valentine and not just on Valentine's Day.
I like that. And we're planning to celebrate Valentine's Day. I'm not sure, we've been talking about it a little bit, but for a lot of people, it's very challenging. You're trying to come up with something new or some creative way to express your love. And while everyone listening may not have a special Valentine at this moment, we want to talk about what you just said, Norm, about loving the people around you, showing the people in your life, whether they're your future partner, your partner, or just someone that you love.
Right. Good for
You want to show them that love.
And I think I just reminded myself that I don't have a reservation yet.
Well, we need to talk about that because I have some ideas about we might not even be in town. So
wow.
There you go.
Now we're talking.
Wait and see.
Okay. You know, Valentine's Day is celebrated around the world, though, and I wasn't sure about the roots of the day. Were you?
No. So we investigated it, and there are multiple legends.
Yes.
And I just kind of picked the one I like.
Well, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I like this one. So here's
Your
the one I liked. So a Christian priest who later became a saint, Saint Valentine, in fact, so that is how we connect the date. The legend is that he helped lovers get married during the reign of Roman Emperor Claudius in 269 A.D. That's a little time ago.
I wonder why they had to do it secretly.
I don't know. Well, here's what the emperor
Okay.
thought.
All right.
So the emperor thought soldiers should not be married.
Oh.
It diminished their fighting skills. That was his idea, right?
Yeah, coaches used to say that to football
Did
players.
they? Maybe it would help. I don't know. I guess not. But Valentine's secret wedding idea didn't work out too well. So he was eventually executed for violating the will of the Caesar.
Oh, my.
Yikes. However, this story goes that while Valentine was awaiting his execution, this is what the story legend
Right, the legend, right.
He fell in love with the blind daughter of the jailer and sent her a note signed, "From your Valentine."
Oh, I hear people all over America
I know.
saying,
It sounds kind of nice. I don't know if it's
does.
true, but it sounds good.
Well, it's a good legend. Well, it did take a while, but the church dropped St. Valentine from the calendar of official worldwide Catholic feasts in 1969.
Oh, okay.
So it was a long time, probably due to the uncertain origins of the story.
So it must not have had too much credibility.
Not a lot of credence in the church as I.
Well, however it began,
Right.
obviously the holiday caught on because we're talking about it even today.
Yes, we are.
And, we love to celebrate love between couples, but also, like we mentioned, other people. So just look at the Hallmark cards.
Oh, my
They
goodness.
have something for everybody.
I'm telling you, that company and restaurants make more money, and then the candy people and the flower people.
I know. And listen, my father had his birthday on Valentine's
Oh,
Day.
that's right.
But let me tell you, there is a very limited section of cards for that double
For a
thing.
birthday Valentine?
Yes, yes. So if you have someone who was born on Valentine's Day, look now because you're going to have trouble finding something that
Well,
really
and you
works.
know what? If you find 2 or 3 of them, buy them all, and then you'll be a couple years ahead.
I used to do that. I used to buy 2 or 3 and then just keep them when I found them.
You know, some people just don't like the idea of being forced into one day alone, one day of the year to show their affection. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't think that's the spirit behind the day. Nobody's forcing you to show love to people. Nobody's forcing you to celebrate if you don't want to.
true.
But I also think that, the other side of that is that if you have these grand gestures of, Valentine's celebration, it's really not going to replace the day-to-day emotional intimacy that you need to be developing in your
Right.
relationship.
So if you're only showing love once a year, that's not working either.
Yeah, and here's a big surprise. February is the leading month for divorce.
Oh my gosh, really?
Right, right. So what happens, Norm, is that struggling couples often wait until after the Christmas holidays, and then they get to Valentine's Day and they just go, I don't want to pretend on this day.
Oh.
I don't want to try to go through this celebration. So they proceed with divorce makings, and which is one of the reasons why it's the highest month of the year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, we learned something new today.
I actually saw that in therapy. I can actually verify that because there would be a lot of tension around the holidays. And then as the new year was starting, they were anticipating, oh, this holiday is coming up and I don't want to fake it and I don't want to have to go through it. So I'm going to do it now.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. But for those who do covenant to stay together and enjoy creating something special for their loved ones, we thought we'd add a few ideas to your list to help you celebrate love. But first, let's talk about love. I mean, I think we know what love is, right?
Yeah. So there's a song that we both know is that love is more than a feeling, right?
That's right.
More than a feeling. And it's hard for sometimes people to think about that because love means a lot of things. And later in the show, we're going to look at the biblical definition of love, which is much more challenging than just feeling in love, right? But when you're in love with somebody, you want to be able to express yourself. You want to be able to say what you feel or what you need. And you want all of that to happen within a really safe and trusting environment.
That's true. And I was thinking today, for some reason, I was walking across campus and I saw young people and I thought, uh-oh, spring's about to come. And suddenly they'll be noticing people and feeling things about people they hadn't thought of before or liking things they hadn't liked before.
Yeah, you're in a atmosphere where you see young love budding
That's right.
quite often.
That's right. Love is also about being able to disagree without feeling shamed. And it's about maintaining a sense of togetherness in times of both intimacy and autonomy, or when you're alone.
Yeah, so you can have a different opinion and you can voice your opinion, and it should be, again, a safe space if you're in a really healthy relationship to be able to say, I really don't agree with that, and here's why, but you can still be together. You can agree to disagree at times in your relationship, and that's actually a really good principle of relationships. And that has to do with the idea that love needs to be real, it needs to be authentic, and it needs to be reciprocated, so that I'm doing things to show my love to you, and you should be doing things to show your love to me, back and forth.
Because otherwise it's one-sided, and that's not even the basic concept of love, because love is between two. At least, right?
And you also, if it's one-sided, it's going to be much more self-centered, and you're not expressing out of your heart to another person. And we know from the love of God that God's love in us does make us express that love to other people. So that's a real true sign of love when it's being reciprocated in any relationship.
We talk often about boundaries in relationships, but love doesn't create boundaries, but it respects boundaries. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, I mean, I think when we talk about a healthy relationship, if you're in love with someone, you're not going to be emotionally engaging with other people in a way that could create an intimacy problem. You're going to physically treat that person well. And there are a lot of people who are in relationships that started with love, but they're treated poorly physically. And that's where physical abuse comes in, and some of the ways that people are screamed at or yelled at. So having good managing of your emotions, treating people with respect and respecting their boundaries at times is very important, along with just some other really basic things, Norm, like encouragement and support and being accepting of your partner And also standing up for what's good and moral and standing up for that person when they need you to back them.
Well, I think that's part of the biblical injunction to love justice. And
Yeah.
we love justice for the people we love. It's also about sacrificing for the good of us together and for the higher good of our faith. Love needs to be celebrated, I think, especially today in a world where there's so much pain and so much hatred that's expressed.
I know. So let's just give some really practical ideas.
Okay.
So here's one. Just celebrate with food. Just go on Pinterest.
I like this one.
Yeah, go on Pinterest and look at ideas or get a magazine and look through it online. Strawberry smoothies for breakfast, chocolates in their lunch, something to kind of make it fun.
Katie, I don't know. I'm going to look forward to these things.
She's going to report on these, what she's been doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Handmade cards. Those are always special.
Our daughter has always
I know, I
done
love
handmade
that.
cards, and
I
they're
love that.
very, very special.
And I did handmade cards for you when we first
did?
started dating because
That's
I had
right.
no money to
We had
buy
no money.
cards. That's right. And here's one. This was a listener suggestion. The listener suggested that you should picnic in your living room. And she says that we do this every year. We tried it. We thought it would be great. It became a tradition. And now the kids want to be involved in that. And they come in, and it's become this big family tradition on Valentine's Day.
And since it's in February, I suggest you don't bring in ants to go with the picnic.
Right. Well, it's cold in a lot of places. There are no ants. And here's one. This is a kind of a take on giving someone
Flowers.
roses and flowers. You can put on each stem, you can put a note for a future date or do something that they would enjoy, like symphony tickets or a movie night. Or you can have these roses delivered and only have 11 of them and then bring in the 12th and
Personally,
read a love poem.
oh my gosh,
You
this
like
is
that one?
dramatic.
I love that
Oh,
one.
this is drama.
You've never done it.
Drama.
But
I've never
just
done
a
that.
Hint, maybe.
I'd never even thought of that, so that's a good thought. Roses are a symbol of love, but they're also kind of generic. I mean, we all expect roses, and every grocery store in America has bazillions of red roses this time of year. How about if you substitute roses, flowers of a different kind of bouquet, or a potted plant, or a bonsai miniature tree, or something like that?
Well, we're going to give a lot of more suggestions. So we're going to have to go to a break. Katie is wrapping us up for this segment, but we've got lots more ideas, and we're going to talk about a biblical love as well. So stay with us. More to come on the Dr. Linda Mintle Show. Being a generous person can have big benefits for you. Giving your time or your money or even your talent to someone else can obviously help the receiver. But did you know that being generous can roll some positive benefits back on you? This is Dr. Linda Mintle, the relationship doctor, and I'm here to share some of the benefits of generosity. Lower blood pressure, reduced stress, a better mood, and even longer life have been identified as benefits of being generous. That's right, physical and mental improvements for you just because you choose to extend something to someone else. What can you give? Your time, your talent, your support, oh, and yes, your money. You see, hoarding money like Scrooge may seem good for your wallet, but it's not so great for your health. One recent study actually showed that stingy behavior increases stress. So take a minute and just ask, what do I have that I can share? Then be generous and see how good you feel when you share something you have with someone else.
Did you know you have a conflict style? Everybody does. Are you a conflict avoider? Maybe you don't avoid, but instead react intensely. Or perhaps you are a great negotiator. Dr. Linda Mintle offers a free conflict quiz when you visit her website, www.drlindahelps.com. Click on the picture of her latest book, We Need to Talk. Then have a friend or your partner take the quiz too, and see if you can navigate conflict successfully.
Well, we're having a good time during the break. I hope you did. You're listening to the Dr. Linda Mintle Show. Our topic today is how do we express love to one another year-round, but especially on Valentine's Day. If you'd love to hear more about what Dr. Linda thinks about relationships and love, you should check out her social media at Dr. Linda Mintle on X and Instagram, Dr. Linda Mintle, author and speaker on Facebook. Her website is drlindamintle.com. There she has blogs and links to the many books that she has written. 20, by the way. But we are talking about how do we express our love, Linda. And one of the things we had talked about was going back to the restaurant where this is so romantic and nostalgic, where you first had maybe your first restaurant date, for example. Like when we first started dating, we went for coffee. It wasn't a restaurant, but it was
was
coffee.
it a restaurant or was it a truck
Well, it
stop?
may have-
What was it? Do
I
you
have-
remember? It was
honestly,
so long
I
ago.
have no recollection.
I do remember we did go for coffee, but I don't remember any dates out because we had no money.
We had no money in
We
college.
couldn't eat out.
No money.
Probably was in the cafe of the.
So I want to know where Katie went on her first date with her fiance. Do you remember, Katie?
All right, so swing that mic over. Katie's going to tell us because Katie's engaged and she is telling us that you were telling us that you met him 7 years ago.
Yeah, we met in high school. I was 15, he was 16.
Oh my goodness. So do you remember the first time you went out?
McDonald's.
No, it wasn't McDonald's. Fun fact, my parents, after they did their marriage certificate, actually went to McDonald's for their marriage dinner.
Oh my goodness. Well,
No.
there's one group that did that. Okay.
But no, we actually went to Panera Bread.
Okay.
And the funny part is we had never actually gone, like either of us, to that restaurant before that day. Because he didn't have his driver's license at the time, so his parents were driving us around, and we knew we were going to watch a movie, but we didn't know, we didn't plan out where we were going to eat. And so when we were heading towards the movie, we were like, oh, well, that's nearby. Let's go there. And both of us are super awkward, and we didn't know how to order. And so we were just like, okay, I think I want that. Okay. And then we like sat down. We're like, okay, is this correct? Are we supposed to, wait for our food?
Yeah, oh, that's great. Well, it is that's teen love, right? And they were doing something novel. So we always talk about how novelty is good for relationships and it stimulates that dopamine and that good feeling. So
They were 16 and 17. They had plenty of dopamine.
all right, well, let's get
Let's
to
do
some
some other
other
ideas.
ideas. Yeah. All right, so here's a really big one that takes a lot of planning
Okay,
and time.
okay.
But I do like this idea. What about making a book about why you love your partner and why you are thankful for that person?
A book like
A book
like a scrapbook?
well, just a book with notes and things like that in it. This was actually another listener idea, Norm.
Okay.
And this is what the listener said, that they did this, and this is what the partner, which I think it was a she, said about the he. But he loved it, said it was the best gift he has ever gotten, and it helped me focus on the things I love about my husband and not his shortcomings.
Oh, that's a really sweet,
I love it.
emotional, romantic, hard work.
Hard work, a lot of time.
Yeah,
A lot of time and
a lot
effort
of
went
time.
into that, a lot of
Right,
thought.
no
So that really speaks volumes of
Yeah,
the
I
thought
like
that went into that.
Here's one. Fill a jar with Valentine candy. Remember those little sugar hearts we gave in,
Oh yeah,
in school?
I didn't like them,
They were gross.
and I always got weird sayings on mine. I just pure sugar, but there are like kisses and other kinds of really
Right,
good
right.
Valentine's candy.
And then you can put notes in there like, this is good for a back rub, or these 10 kisses
yeah.
could be real kisses, and just little notes that say, I'm so glad God blessed me with you. The kinds of stuff Hallmark does cheesy, you could do for real.
Yeah, that's right. And then another one is you could go to bed and you could tape notes to your partner's steering wheel in the car, or you could put notes on the bathroom mirror and, little notes when they wake up and welcoming them and saying some love notes on there, and maybe lipstick kisses or Valentine's window clippings. I've seen that with some of my friends where they've put up clippings and different things that you could do.
I like this one because we've done it. Take a cooking class together.
Totally
or
fun.
enjoy some other hobby that you both really enjoy.
And I'm gonna say one that we did on one of our anniversaries. It wasn't Valentine's Day, but I would love it on Valentine's Day too. We had money to do this, so it does cost money, but we did a couples spa day. Do you remember that? Yep. And it was in February. Maybe they had a peppermint pedicure thing that was fabulous. It just woke up your legs. I don't know how else to say it. But we did this together. We did all of the massage and all these things, and it was really, really fun. But that does take some money.
That does. I think it was on a vacation one time. We scheduled.
I think it was an anniversary. We went to the Outer Banks, I think is what it was.
How about this one? Spend the night singing cheesy old love songs to each other.
Karaoke.
Or go to karaoke.
Karaoke. I'm thinking you could do that at karaoke. This doesn't sound highly romantic, but it would really bond a couple if you did some type of volunteering and giving back on that day. You could go to a soup kitchen. I love this one. You could send flowers to nursing home residents, or you could take them some special cookies, or go in and do some singing with them, some of the old songs that they would love, and or go to a woman's domestic violence shelter and bring them some things that would show that you love them. That would be a great way to bring joy to other people that aren't maybe all the time in your
Boy,
life.
that's for sure. Here's one for the artistic folks in our audience. Why don't you create something together? Kick around some ideas and make something, or do a silly skit, or write something together, or do something creative. It's really fun to allow our God-given creativity to be expressed when you're together.
Yeah. Now, I mean, it's harder for me to be creative on those kind of ideas. Some of us are more linear thinkers than others.
No. You're very creative. We had a friend recently who was retiring, and his son asked us to do a video. And I said later, I'll bet most of the videos were just people sitting there talking to the camera. You had us running all over the house and talking about all these memories we had together.
And I was doing props
creative.
and all kinds of, that's true.
No, are
so
you
maybe
kidding?
maybe I have this in me and I don't even know
You have it.
Listen, here's one: to be a tourist in your own city. So sometimes you can go to a new place and places that you haven't been before. And did you know, Norm, that there are a number of New Yorkers that have never been to the Statue of Liberty or on top of the Empire State Building?
I don't doubt that, because I know when we lived in Florida for about a year and a half, there were a whole lot of people from Florida who had never gone to the beach.
I know. So you could explore your own city. And here's a really interesting one. So this is one I'm not sure about, but it says have a date at the dog park. So listen to this. There was a global poll conducted by Reuters.
Yeah.
And they revealed that, this is kind of sad. They revealed that 1 in 5 people would rather spend Valentine's Day with their pet than their partner.
Oof.
So if you're having a hard time picking between the two, I don't know about. I think what I would
Go together. Is that what you're saying?
No, I think I would spend the afternoon maybe at the dog park, but then I'd go out on a date that night. So maybe do both. Or if you're single, just don't dive into the ice cream and feel sorry for yourself that night. Take out your dog, go to the park. Who knows? Maybe you'll meet the dog lover of your dreams.
There you go. All right, let's pivot to the Bible and what the Bible has to say about romance. You know, when you read the love poems from the Song of Solomon, you might be surprised how descriptive and, may I say, sensual that book is.
Yes, you may. And here's a sampling of that.
Oh,
all right?
uh-oh.
Behold, thou art fair, my love. Behold, thou art fair. Thou hast dove's eyes within thy locks. Thy lips are like a thread of scarlet, and thy speech is comely. Thy temples are like a piece of a pomegranate within thy locks.
Oh, my goodness.
Right. It goes on and on like that. Now, I have to really think about the way what they're saying and how that relates, because it's a little bit more of a
Solomon used metaphor a lot.
yeah, but it's really beautiful when you read it, and I've actually had couples read that to each other, and it's been a great exercise.
That's great. And when we remember the people in our lives who have showed us how to love, that's a great way for us to increase our own senses of gratitude, and thus gratitude leads us to remember and love. Being intentionally grateful for those people enhances our lives in many, many ways.
You know, we were talking before the show that we should just do a show on gratitude and the power of that and what it does in relationships. So it's obviously very powerful every day,
Right.
not just on Valentine's Day. And of course, if you're really unsure of what love should look like, maybe you had poor role models, or maybe you really didn't have a good experience with love in your family, or people who have not made it in terms of the long haul of relationships, just look at the love chapter in the Bible in 1 Corinthians 13. What it says about love is this: love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. And then, of course, love never fails.
Right. And Paul ends that chapter with saying there are great 3 things here, but the greatest of all is love. We need more love. We need it in our world. We need it every day. So let us encourage you to take time this week to express love to your spouse, to your loved one, to your family, and to your friends. And happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Well, happy Valentine's Day, and love with the love of God. Do something special for those special people in your life. And remember, God is love, and He loves you with an everlasting love. Well, that's all the time we have today. Many thanks to my co-host, Norm Mintle, who makes this show a conversation, and to our technical producer, Katie Sims.
Congratulations, Katie.
Yes. From all of us here at Faith Radio, hey, we'll talk to you again next weekend. In the meantime, remember, we're doing life together, and it's better when you don't have to do it alone.
Doing life together.
Well, thanks for listening to this conversation from the Dr. Linda Mintle Show. These podcasts are available because of listener support. You can make a gift now at myfaithradio.com. And thanks for sharing this audio link with a friend and helping us grow the impact of the Dr. Linda Mintle Show. Also, take a moment to subscribe to the podcast today at iTunes or your podcast player, and you'll never miss a show.